Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to reflect on the life and legacy of a man who touched millions with his words, his faith, and his unwavering commitment to spreading the message of Jesus Christ. Billy Graham was more than just an evangelist. He was a beacon of hope, a counselor to world leaders, and a voice that transcended generations, cultures, and borders. Your personal spiritual experiences and divine encounters with God are deeply sacred moments that are meant to strengthen your faith and guide your path. These experiences are not always meant to be shared openly with everyone, as they hold a deep significance that can be misunderstood, misinterpreted, or even challenged by those who may not fully comprehend their value. When God reveals something to you in prayer, through dreams, or through a strong conviction in your heart, it is often a personal message meant to shape your spiritual journey rather than a public declaration. Throughout history, we see how divine encounters shape the lives of great men and women of faith. Moses met God at the burning bush, a moment that changed the course of his life and the future of Israel. Paul had a life-altering encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus, an experience that transformed him from a persecutor of Christians into one of the most influential apostles of all time. These encounters were deeply personal and carried great responsibility. Had they been shared carelessly or prematurely, they could have been dismissed or ridiculed by those who lacked understanding. One of the reasons why sacred encounters should be kept private is that not everyone will receive them with an open heart. When you share personal revelations with people who do not have the same spiritual insight, they may question your faith, cast doubt on your experience, or even try to discourage you. Just as Joseph in the Bible shared his prophetic dreams with his brothers and was met with jealousy and betrayal, speaking about divine encounters prematurely can invite unnecessary opposition. Sometimes God reveals things to you not for immediate sharing, but for you to meditate upon, seek wisdom, and allow Him to bring them to fulfillment in His perfect timing. Another reason to guard your spiritual experiences is that they are unique to your personal relationship with God. What God speaks to you may not be meant for others to hear, and the way He communicates with you may not be the same way He communicates with someone else. In the Bible, Jesus often withdrew to lonely places to pray and have private moments with God. He didn't always reveal everything to His disciples, but rather shared only what they were ready to receive. This teaches us the importance of discretion and spiritual maturity in handling divine revelations. When God speaks to you or reveals something significant, it is wise to take time to pray and seek confirmation. Not everything we experience in our spiritual journey needs to be verbalized immediately. Sometimes God calls us to a season of silence where He is working within us, preparing us for something greater. Speaking too soon can disrupt this process, leading to confusion or interference from others who may not have the same level of faith or understanding. The Bible reminds us in Ecclesiastes 3:7 that there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. Knowing when to share and when to keep quiet is an essential part of walking in wisdom. Additionally, the enemy often seeks to attack those who are close to God. The more spiritually connected you become, the more opposition you may face. When you openly share every revelation or divine experience, you may unknowingly expose yourself to unnecessary spiritual battles. There are moments when it is best to guard your heart and allow God to work in you privately before making anything public. Jesus Himself warned in Matthew 7:6, "Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs." This means that sacred things should not be carelessly exposed to those who will not appreciate their value. However, this does not mean that you should never share your faith or testimony. There is a difference between sharing the gospel to encourage others and revealing deeply personal encounters that are meant to be kept between you and God. Testimonies can inspire and uplift others, but sacred revelations often require wisdom in how and when they are shared. If God places it on your heart to share a certain experience for the benefit of others, He will also provide the right moment and audience for it. Ultimately, the ability to discern when to speak and when to remain silent comes with spiritual growth and a deepened relationship with God. It is important to remain humble, seek divine wisdom, and allow God to lead you in all things. Trust that He knows what is best for you and that He will guide you in handling the precious moments He shares with you. In a world where people are quick to share everything on social media, keeping sacred encounters private can be a way of honoring God and preserving the purity of your faith. When you hold onto what God has given you with reverence and humility, you allow Him to work in ways that will ultimately bring about His greater purpose for your life. Acts of kindness and charity are among the purest expressions of faith, but they are not meant to be performed for public recognition or approval. True generosity comes from the heart and is a reflection of one's relationship with God rather than a display for the world to see. When a person gives with the intention of being praised or acknowledged, the focus shifts away from the true purpose of charity and instead becomes an act of self-glorification. This is why Jesus emphasized in Matthew 6:3, that when giving to the needy, one should not let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. The reward for sincere acts of kindness comes not from human praise, but from God, who sees what is done in secret. When a person engages in charitable work, the motive behind it matters greatly. If the act is performed with the expectation of recognition, then it loses its spiritual value. True kindness is selfless, expecting nothing in return. Those who quietly help others without seeking attention or validation demonstrate the kind of love that God desires. The world often glorifies public displays of generosity, with people posting their good deeds on social media or expecting appreciation for their contributions. However, when kindness is done for the sake of God alone, it carries a far greater meaning. It is a test of one's character and sincerity, revealing whether the act is truly done out of love or merely for self-promotion. Another reason to keep acts of kindness private is to protect the dignity of those who are being helped. Many people who receive assistance are already in a vulnerable position, and publicizing their struggles can sometimes bring them embarrassment or discomfort. True charity should uplift and empower rather than make the recipient feel as though they are being pitied or put on display. Jesus himself often healed and helped others without making a spectacle of it, showing that compassion should be given with humility and respect. When people broadcast their acts of charity, it can sometimes shift the focus away from the needs of the person being helped and instead place attention on the giver. This contradicts the true spirit of giving, which is about serving others rather than seeking admiration. The act of giving is also a reflection of one's faith and trust in God. When a person gives freely without expecting anything in return, they demonstrate a heart that relies on God's provision rather than material gain. Many people hesitate to give because they fear losing what they have, but those who understand the principle of generosity know that God blesses those who give with a sincere heart. The Bible teaches that giving should be done cheerfully, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. When charity is done privately, it allows a person to experience the true joy of giving without the distractions of seeking approval or validation. Furthermore, keeping acts of kindness private helps cultivate humility. The more a person seeks recognition for their good deeds, the more pride can take root in the heart. Pride is dangerous because it shifts the focus away from God and onto oneself. A person who constantly seeks praise for their generosity may start to believe that they are superior to others, forgetting that all blessings ultimately come from God. Humility is a key virtue in faith, and one way to practice it is by keeping good deeds between oneself and God. When kindness is given in secret, it allows a person to develop a deeper connection with God, knowing that He alone sees and rewards what is done with a pure heart. There is also wisdom in being discreet about charitable acts because not everyone will have the same understanding or appreciation for them. Some people may question the motives behind generosity or even criticize the act itself. Others may develop a sense of entitlement, expecting continuous assistance rather than seeing the kindness as a blessing. By keeping charity private, a person can avoid unnecessary complications or misunderstandings. It also prevents situations where people start depending on the giver rather than seeking their own solutions. True kindness should empower others, not create dependency. Additionally, when acts of charity are kept private, they have a greater spiritual impact. God honors those who serve others quietly and faithfully. In a world that constantly seeks validation through social media and public recognition, choosing to keep charitable acts private is a powerful way to demonstrate faith. It shows that the giver is more concerned with pleasing God than impressing people. This aligns with the teachings of Jesus, who often warned against seeking human approval over divine approval. A person who truly understands the value of humility and discretion will recognize that their reward does not come from human applause, but from God Himself. At its core, charity is about love. Love does not boast, nor does it seek attention. True love gives freely, without conditions or expectations. Those who give with love understand that their kindness is a reflection of God's love for humanity. They do not need the world to see their good deeds because they are content knowing that God sees their hearts. This is the essence of true generosity, giving for the sake of giving, expecting nothing in return, and trusting that God will provide all that is needed. Keeping acts of kindness private is not about secrecy, but about sincerity. Sincerity is about ensuring that the focus remains on the purpose of giving rather than on the giver. When charity is done with humility, it carries a greater spiritual weight and leaves a lasting impact. Those who give in secret are often the ones whose kindness changes lives in the most profound ways. They may never receive public recognition, but their reward is far greater, knowing that they have served God and fulfilled their purpose with a pure heart. Your weaknesses and struggles are deeply personal aspects of your life that should not be revealed to just anyone. In a world where people are quick to judge, misunderstand, or even take advantage of others, sharing your struggles without discernment can lead to unnecessary pain and disappointment. While it is important to seek help and support when needed, not everyone has your best interests at heart. Some may pretend to care, but in reality, they may use your vulnerabilities against you. This is why wisdom is crucial when deciding whom to confide in and when to remain silent. Many times, people feel the need to share their weaknesses with others in the hope of receiving comfort, validation, or even advice. However, not every listener is capable of providing the right support. Some may respond with indifference, others may spread your personal struggles as gossip, and some may even use your difficulties to manipulate you. The Bible warns about this in Proverbs 13:03, which states that those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. This verse highlights the importance of being cautious with the words we share and the people we trust. Another reason to be discreet about your weaknesses is that constantly speaking about them can reinforce a negative mindset. When a person repeatedly verbalizes their struggles, they may unknowingly give power to their problems instead of seeking solutions. Words carry great influence, and what is spoken frequently has the potential to shape one's reality. Instead of constantly sharing difficulties with people who cannot help, it is far more beneficial to take those struggles to God in prayer. He is the one who understands every burden and has the power to bring true healing and restoration. Additionally, sharing personal struggles with the wrong individuals can invite unnecessary opinions and criticism. Many people are quick to offer advice, but not all advice is helpful or rooted in wisdom. Some may give misleading counsel based on their limited perspective, while others may judge without fully understanding the situation. In some cases, negative voices can create doubt, discouragement, or confusion, making it even harder to overcome struggles. It is far better to seek guidance from those who are truly wise, such as a trusted mentor, spiritual leader, or a close and reliable friend who genuinely cares about your well-being. There is also a spiritual aspect to guarding your weaknesses. The enemy often seeks to exploit a person's struggles to create doubt, fear, and discouragement. When struggles are openly shared, they become exposed to attacks from those who may wish to see you fail. The Bible reminds believers in Ephesians 6:11 to put on the full armor of God, to stand against the schemes of the enemy. Part of this spiritual armor includes wisdom in what is shared and with whom it is shared. Not everything about your life should be public knowledge, and protecting certain aspects of your journey can help you stay strong in faith. One of the greatest examples of discretion in the face of struggles is Jesus himself. Though he faced trials, rejection, and suffering, he did not openly share his pain with everyone around him. Instead, he withdrew to quiet places to pray and seek strength from God. Even among his disciples, he had a closer circle, Peter, James, and John, whom he shared more intimate moments with. But still, he ultimately placed his trust in his Father. This serves as a powerful reminder that not everyone is meant to know every detail of your struggles. Some battles are meant to be fought privately, with faith and perseverance. Being selective about whom you confide in also fosters emotional strength and independence. When a person becomes too reliant on others to validate or support them through every challenge, they may struggle to develop resilience. While it is important to have a support system, it is equally important to cultivate inner strength and the ability to handle difficulties without always seeking external validation. Life is filled with challenges, and the ability to stand firm without always depending on the reassurance of others is a valuable trait. Moreover, some struggles are temporary, and sharing them prematurely can create a lasting impression that is hard to erase. People tend to remember the weaknesses of others more than their victories. If a person constantly shares their struggles, they may unknowingly shape the way others perceive them. Instead of being seen as strong, capable, and resilient, they may be viewed as weak, helpless, or constantly in distress. While vulnerability is not a weakness, oversharing struggles can sometimes create a perception that does not truly reflect one's ability to overcome hardships. There is great power in silence and discretion. When a person learns to handle their struggles with wisdom, they develop a stronger sense of self-awareness and control over their emotions. They learn to seek God first, trusting in His ability to provide solutions rather than relying solely on human support. This does not mean that seeking help is wrong, but rather that wisdom should guide when and with whom struggles are shared. The right people will uplift and encourage, while the wrong people may use weaknesses as a weapon. Ultimately, the ability to guard personal struggles is a sign of spiritual maturity. It demonstrates trust in God rather than dependence on the opinions or validation of others. While everyone faces challenges, not everyone needs to know every detail of your journey. Choosing to share wisely, seeking counsel from those who genuinely care, and trusting in God's guidance will lead to greater strength, wisdom, and peace. In a world that often values oversharing, there is true power in knowing when to remain silent and when to speak. Speaking about your future plans before they are fulfilled can often invite unnecessary obstacles, distractions, or even opposition. There is wisdom in keeping certain aspirations private until the right time, as not everyone will understand, support, or even believe in your vision. When you share your goals too soon, you open the door for doubt, jealousy, and negative influences that may weaken your motivation or even delay your progress. The Bible reminds us in Proverbs 16:03 to commit our plans to the Lord so that He may establish them. This means that before sharing dreams and goals with others, one must first seek God's guidance and allow Him to lead the way. One of the main reasons to be discreet about your future plans is that not everyone has your best interests at heart. While some people may genuinely support you, others may secretly envy or even hope for your failure. Jealousy is a powerful force that can manifest in unexpected ways, sometimes even from close friends or family members. When Joseph in the Bible shared his dreams with his brothers, instead of celebrating his vision, they became jealous and conspired against him. This teaches an important lesson. Sometimes, even those closest to you may not be ready to hear about the great things God has placed in your heart. Their response may not be one of encouragement, but one of doubt or discouragement. Another reason to be cautious about revealing future plans is that premature exposure can attract negativity. People may project their own fears, limitations, or failures onto your dreams, convincing you that what you desire is impossible. Many people see the world through their own experiences, and if they have not achieved success, they may struggle to believe that you can. This can lead to discouragement, causing doubt to take root in your mind. Dreams require faith, and faith thrives in an environment of confidence and positivity. By keeping certain plans private, you allow yourself to build faith and momentum without interference from the negativity of others. Additionally, speaking too soon about your goals can sometimes lead to unnecessary pressure. When people know about your plans, they may begin to question or criticize your progress, adding stress and expectation that may not be helpful. Instead of focusing on the process and allowing growth to happen naturally, you may feel the need to prove yourself to others. This can lead to rushed decisions, unnecessary comparisons, or even anxiety about meeting external expectations. Keeping your goals private allows you to work at your own pace, free from outside pressure or judgment. Another key reason for discretion is that plans often evolve and change over time. What you envision today may take a different form tomorrow as new opportunities arise, challenges appear, or God redirects your path. When you share your plans too soon, you may feel locked into an idea that is still developing. This can create unnecessary complications if changes need to be made. Sometimes, the best way to allow a vision to fully unfold is to nurture it quietly, allowing it to grow without outside interference. When the time is right, the results will speak for themselves, and there will be no need for explanations or justifications. There is also a spiritual element to guarding future plans. When something is still in its early stages, it is vulnerable. Just as a seed needs to be planted in the soil and protected as it begins to grow, dreams and goals need time to take root before being exposed. The enemy often tries to attack people at the beginning of their journey using discouragement, distractions, or obstacles to prevent them from reaching their full potential. Jesus himself often withdrew to pray in private before making major decisions, showing that seeking God's direction is more important than seeking the approval of people. Keeping plans between you and God allows him to strengthen and prepare you before revealing them to the world. There is also a psychological benefit to keeping future plans private. Studies show that talking too much about goals can create a false sense of accomplishment, tricking the brain into feeling as though progress has already been made. This can reduce motivation and make it harder to follow through with actual work. When you keep your goals to yourself, you maintain a stronger sense of internal drive, focusing on action rather than external validation. Silence allows you to channel your energy into achieving your goals rather than constantly explaining or defending them to others. Timing is also an important factor when it comes to revealing future plans. There is a right time for everything, and sharing too soon can disrupt the natural flow of events. Many successful individuals understand the power of patience and strategic timing. They do not reveal their moves until they are fully prepared, ensuring that when they do make an announcement, they are in a position of strength rather than uncertainty. This principle applies to all areas of life, whether it is career aspirations, personal relationships, or spiritual callings. Allowing things to unfold before making them public leads to better outcomes. Ultimately, the key to success is wisdom. Knowing when to speak and when to remain silent is a skill that can protect your dreams from unnecessary interference. It is not about secrecy, but about discernment, understanding that some things are meant to be shared only at the right moment and with the right people. Trusting God with your plans and allowing him to guide your steps ensures that you stay on the right path without being swayed by external opinions or distractions. When the time is right, your success will be evident, and there will be no need for excessive explanation or validation. By keeping certain plans private, you allow them the space to grow, develop, and eventually flourish in a way that brings fulfillment and glorifies God.